Welcome to a video from thedigitallife.com. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Yamaha TX7 from 1985. The TX7 is a desktop version of the DX7, and I'll explain this why, if you're thinking of going for a DX7, you should look at the TX7 first. Because it's cheaper, more compact, but you still get that authentic DX7 sound. It's got the same digital analog converters as the original DX7. It's completely patch compatible with the DX7, so you get that authentic sound in a small desktop unit, but you've still got a bit of vintage gear, and you don't have to take up space for a whole new DX7. So it originally launched in 1985. It's actually a companion to the DX7. So the DX7 keyboard, probably one of the most famous synthesizers of all time. It really revolutionized the way that synths were going from analog before that to digital, and the use of presets as well, because they were difficult to program. Small membrane pad, there weren't controls everywhere like there is on some modern synths or on older synths. So it meant that people use presets all the time, which is a good thing for us because those presets are available online everywhere. So there's thousands of sounds available for these devices, and you can program your own as well. It's challenging with FM, but it is good fun. So I should mention as well the difference between a digital box or like the TX7 or the DX7 and analog synthesizers. There's no oscillators and filters and envelopes in the same way there is an analog synth. This is all digital. It uses FM synthesis, which combines sine waves with one sine wave modified another to produce the sounds. This version of FM, the DX7, the TX7, DX1, DX5, use 6 operator FM. Some of the DX synths like the DX100, DX27, they use 4 operator FM. And then you've got like the DX11, the TXH1Z, use 4 operator FM, but allow you to combine different waveforms. Something like the Op6, the Korg Op6 has got those combining waveforms. It's got 6 operators, it's got filters and all sorts. So if you really want to get a modern take on FM, then that's one worth checking out. But I was really after that authentic DX7 sound, but I didn't want the space. And I always remember these being in the brochures at the time. Wow, I'd love to get one of these. So the way that Yamaha, or the idea behind the TX7 was it's a companion to the DX7. So in fact, they even show it on the top there, how you connect these up. So the idea being that you've got your DX7 where you did your programming, you've got all your sounds, but maybe you want an extra bank of sounds, or you want to create combination sounds. You get a TX7 to expand your DX7 and add an extra sound layer at the same time. So you could actually combine a DX7 and a TX7 to get equivalent to a DX5, where you combine the 2 sounds. So because of that, Yamaha really designed this so they weren't thinking that you would be programming this synth, you would be programming your DX7 and sending the patches to it, which brings me on to its main limitation. There's no user interface for programming the sound. There's no options. You can send as many sounds as you want down to it using SysX, but you can't actually program it from the front panel. You can program it even real time using some tools which we'll look at later in the video. So it's a DX7 in a box, works with SysX, fully compatible with the DX7. You can't send, you can't edit it from the front panel. When it comes to price, of course, the great thing about this is the price. It's not a DX7, it's not sought after. There's plenty of them around. You can get, I just looked today before starting this video, about 260 quid, one of these, whereas a DX7 is sort of starting at 500 and upwards, depending on which version you get. So they're quite cheap. There's a lot of them about, easy to buy, and I said they don't take a huge amount of space. So we'll look at programming in a sec. I'll give you a few more sound demos while I've got the box in front of me, then we'll look at some of the vast sounds you can get from it. So these are sounds that I've programmed, collected together, and used the tools to bring together. So we've got some of those great basses. I've got a bit of reverb on there. I'll just turn that down. So that's called Super Bass, which is was actually a DX7 2 preset, but I've imported it in. It doesn't have quite the same settings as the DX7 2, but it still sounds good. You can get some nice pad sounds out of it. I will put the reverb back on to do a bit of the pads. It's called Amber Pad. One of the ones I've came across is called Banks T, which I'm hoping is Tony Banks, a Genesis keyboard player. Genesis, Tony Banks, you can use DX7 a lot on Invisible Touch album. You can get some nice string sounds out of it. And they've got kind of digital sound to them, so you're not getting like overhand strings or anything else, but they've got a certain mellowness, sadness to that sound. It kind of makes me think of sort of mid-80s synth pop on there. I've even got things like Moog leads. And here you can hear those envelopes. We'll look at those shortly. We've got all the classic sounds like the brass sounds. And that is a sound that you just can't really recreate on an analog synth. Really nice sound. I've even got some ones that use sort of a more complex envelope. That one's called Electroback, which I think is actually a DX7S patch, which I just brought down into here. There's some really nice guitar type sounds as well, and they all respond to velocity. I found that the FM responds to velocity pretty well. And you can hear shades of Jan Hammer with a lot of these sounds. This is one of my favourite, this sort of Strat sound. And notice how this is very velocity responsive. And that sounds very Jan Hammer to me, very Miami Vice. That one's called PPG Strat, and I think that one very Tangerine Dream, 80s Tangerine Dream. This is another one I actually think it's pretty Tangerine Dream as well, 12-string guitar. So a lot of these sounds at the time were fresh, very fresh, because analog synth just couldn't get that kind of sound off from an analog synth. So this is where the DX became so popular, because it could recreate original. So the DX became so popular because the presets were good. You could create a guitar sound. It didn't sound like an analog synth. It sounded like a guitar. You could create koto sounds like that, and you could create them, or you could get those presets. That's not the one that Jan Hammer used. I'll find the one that Jan Hammer used shortly. So you have a nice choir sounds. The famous marimba. Used on loads of 80s pop tracks. And of course the famous electric piano. is E piano 1. There's a couple of other examples of that as well. And there are tons of electric piano sounds if you like those, and classic flute sounds. Got synth leads. This is another electric piano. This is called Full Times. I think it's a real classic 80s ballad sound. Countless ballads. There's nylon 2 guitar, which is what I think was used on Crockett's theme. And classic tubular bells are used on Top Gun. But also these high ones are countless 80s pop hits. Oh, I've even got some sound effects. And nice sort of synth recreations as well. So they are the authentic DX7 sounds. So let's have a look how you would actually use that with downloading sounds or doing your own programming. So I'll switch over to the DAW for this. Programming, there's a couple of different tools you can use, and one of them is actually a brilliant emulator. So if you don't want to buy a DX7 or TX7, you can get the emulator called Dexed, and it's well worth giving a try. Even if you're thinking of getting the hardware, this is a great virtual version of a DX7, completely compatible with all the downloadable presets that are available. And you can actually use this as an editor for the TX7. So what you can hear there is my TX7 from the keyboard, but I'm actually can do these envelope changes or the algorithm changes directly through here. But if I go to the cartridge, I can load in different packs of sounds. So here's some I've got off the internet. These are some you can search on. I'll include a couple of links, but there's tons of them available. So here now I can send that program, and there you can hear that it's playing that. If I put the synth on, or the Dexed on, and I turn off the synth, you can hear that because that's not got any reverb on it. That's the virtual version. So they are very close, but you don't get through the same digital analog converters, which some people really love. Some people say it doesn't matter. But if you like having a bit of hardware, then this is nice. So like I said, you can manage that from here now. So I'm going to go back to using the hardware only. Turn that level down. So you can use the algorithm that's got the 4 initial operators. So I think I could, if I go on to operator 1, I could probably adjust those envelopes. Like I could adjust the envelope like that. And if I do a few of these, you get the idea that I'm doing this kind of real time. So you can see I'm doing real time sound. And if I go back to these, change these again, and if I can maybe show you real time, if I reach across the keyboard, and if I start changing the modulators, so I've got to operator 3. They can hear that real time. So you can do real-time programming through Dexed, and then what you can do, you can actually load in other banks. So here are some of the ones I've downloaded that are available on the internet, and you can just load these in. So let me load this guitars one in, say. Because so here's all the guitar ones. So maybe I want the lead guitar sound, and I can send that to the guitar, to the TX, and that's playing straight through. So that's a really nice free tool you can use to manage your sounds. One of my favorite tools is DX Manager, which is a paid app. I think it was £5 or £10. I'll include a link with the video. But this one is really good because this one will extract the data from the TX7 as well. So you can go into your MIDI here. I've got MIDI set up in it already. It's already extracted what's currently in my that TX7. So if I do get all, you can see what's in this device. In fact, it loaded that whole cartridge down before when I was in Dexed. So you can see all those sounds from the cartridge on there. But what I can do is open my own one on here. So here you can see all the patches that I was demonstrating earlier, and I can actually transmit this back to the TX7. So I just sent that whole bank down now. So I'm back now with my presets. But it does mean that you can have, the great thing about this, you can have multiple presets. So I've got another one that I've downloaded. This is called Hammer. I wonder whether it's a Yamaha. I don't really know. But let's say I wanted the one of his sounds on there. Let's say the clarinet. By clicking on that, it's downloaded the sound straight in there, and you can see I've got all the parameters in there and things like the envelopes. You can drag and drop and real time. The nice thing you can do with this as well, because we're using the MIDI for communication backwards and forwards, we can set another device up. So let's set up my my keyboards on here. It's a master keyboard, and I can control that keyboard. So even though we've got the MIDI in and out map directly so that I can control all the sounds coming in and out, you can use that tool to audition the sounds. So this is where you can see now I can make some changes to the envelopes. We can change the clarinet sound and little envelopes around just so you can hear some of the differences to it. And we're doing that real time, and I can adjust the levels and the tuning. So you can see everything is available on the screen like that. So it makes it slightly easier to program, and certainly makes it easier to visualize, especially things like envelopes. But it makes a great tool for managing all your patches. So even though that's what's loaded in memory, I can have any of these sounds on here. I can put them straight across like that and just send them straight across. So it's a great way of having the convenience of DAW or software to be able to manage all those patches, because like I said, I've got hundreds of them, but you can do real-time editing, but with the hardware. So just to give you a few specs to finish off, it's 6 operator FM, same as the DX7, 16 voice polyphony, 32 internal memories. It's got MIDI in, out and through, and a mono output as well, and a foot switch control. Everything is programmable through MIDI. All the patches are the same. You can have the classic E-piano, tubular bells, marimba, all those the same as well. And to program in, you can use like DX Manager, you could use Dexed, you could use controller, or you can use a vintage hardware. So you could get a DX7 and transmit it from a DX7 across as well, and vice versa. You can send it from the DX7. It'd be nice with the DX7, so you can layer it, so you can have that sort of DX5 type sound. But I think for the budget price available for these now, I think in the future these are going to go up, because that DX7 sound is such a classic sound. Not everybody wants a full-size keyboard. I'd like a DX7. I haven't got space, so that's the next best thing. Maybe eventually I'll fit the space in, put this on top, and then that'll be my sort of DX5 combo. Obviously it works with sequences and everything else, so it's great for all that. So thanks for watching this video. If you've got any questions about the TX7, let me know. If you like any of the patches or anything like that, just let me know. I'm going to do some programming. Whether I'll create my own sound packs for that, because there's so many available, as you can see. We'll see in the future. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for keep watching to the end, and I'll see you on the next video.